Like I knew when I was a kid, like I knew what I wanted. Always, my mom always talks about like what you were on a fucking mission, like a soldier when you're 5, and but I never felt that I wanted a wife or I wanted a family because I see it as, and I'm saying just for me, I see it as a lot of people who have a job they may not like that much and they just settle. They just settle for this lifestyle that America tells them that's what you do. Now I know there's obviously exceptions. You have a very good situation as you and all that stuff, but I just come to terms with the fact that like I love my space and I love the ability to do what I want to do, go where I want to go more than that thought that we're all raised to
Then the white
think
picket fence.
is the end game.
Yeah.
I believe that my end game, because I may or may not, I'll never say never, because I may or may not commit to that, will impact so many more people because as opposed to focusing on what could be my family, I believe in the end my focus will be on impacting so many more people, and the question becomes, is that wrong? And I am at peace with the fact that I know the answer, and the answer is no, it's not wrong.
Oh, it's all on you, bro.
Right.
It has nothing to do with anybody else.
It's my life.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it's hard for a lot of people to say, well, yeah, this is the norm, but for me, I know what I like and I know what I feel, and I'm just going to go against everything and follow me.
So, and when you say that, it's hard for me to think the other direction, right? Because it's all a personal thing, and it's not right or wrong, Johnny. And you shouldn't.
Exactly.
Here's one thing, observing you just as long as I've known you, it's like maybe you're trying to fit yourself into that box, and it isn't you. Maybe that's why you're having resistance to it.
I think I'm a human being, and I still can love people.
Of
right?
course.
But the question is,
Doesn't mean you got to wife them up, though.
Doesn't mean I have to wife them up, and it doesn't mean that I'm willing to give all of myself.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you shouldn't feel bad about it.
Oh, I don't.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But saying that, I'm sure maybe have you at times though?
Have I felt bad?
Yeah.
I felt bad when I've hurt people. So
Okay.
I think right around 30, I stopped hurting people.
I gotcha.
Meaning like tell you I'll commit to you and then cheat on them and know that I am me. I'm solely the cause of that pain. John created it. I will not do that to somebody anymore. And the way I avoid that is just by being honest and truthful.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, even when he says that, like, it just, of course, I have my own thing I wanted to say, but as you say that, just sparked more thought and just into my personal situation. And 100% just made me think about how much Ashley just doesn't even think about traditional marriage. Not like she's against it or for it or anything. And, like, she's just totally cool, happily being friends for life. Like, and we're just in this together. We rolling. There's no, let's get and build a whole family. Let's buy this house. Let's buy this land. Let's get, 55,000 kids. And it took
55.
Yeah, but
That's a lot of fucking.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of fucking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's why we're gonna get the product going.
Yeah.
So, no, but in a for me, I think everybody is on autopilot with how they feel their life should be within marriage and the church and the wedding bells and the cool reception and all that. And for most people, it's mostly the man not trying to commit. But she was like, yo, I'm cool on that. Like, I just don't need to be married to you to know I'm with you. And I was like, wow, that was different. You know what I'm saying? And like, she just like, I'm just not into it. You know what I mean? And I don't need to lock you up to know that there'll be some money here. There's that dynamic. So like getting out of that traditional dynamic, like puts my space in like this level of freedom. Right. And that's why I understand people who are, I don't know what the right word is, but LBGTQ trans community. They got some new word for it now.
We'll call it different.
Yeah, it's free.
Sure.
I can understand the freedom of thought with that just as much as I can understand the freedom of thought with John is like, that's not for me. But that's the refreshing part of America, I think.
Yeah.
That like how times have evolved, how just you have different, like even to speak about it on this platform, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of listeners, man, where dudes be like, man, marriage just ain't for me. It doesn't mean I don't love people. It don't mean I don't love a woman, but that just isn't for me. But that doesn't make you wrong that you're like that. Just as much as my lady, we've been together for 14 years, it doesn't make her wrong for not saying, hey, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? But I want us to live and grow and be with each other. And you would think with all that I had going on that she would try to lock and angle and say, hey, let me do this to make sure I can have this secure.
Mm-hmm.
It just isn't even that program. But you can put so much time, you can lock so much time in trying to reproduce that mentality or that reality that it can hinder you, or just you be living somebody else's life.
Biggest thing I was going to say is that I wasn't looking for my wife. It just happened. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't go, today I'm going to try to find the person at 20 years old I want to be with for the rest of my life. I just couldn't deny it.
I want to ask both you guys this, because obviously my mindset is extreme, but
like he has to tell us.
So to me, there's some weakness in cohabitating with another. There's some weakness there.
Okay.
That's how I see it, and this is how I'll explain it. Right?
Please.
And this is just my take. Okay, this is just my take.
I'm laughing. You haven't even talked yet.
Really, this is just my take. There's some weakness there, because when I'm around dudes who have girls, wives, whatever. When they're not around their wife, I will go as far as saying 95% of them look free as fuck, happy as fuck, and they behave differently. And this isn't, we're talking about girls, we're talking about hot girls, she's hot. No, I ain't talking about that.
You're not talking about
shit.
that talk.
I ain't talking about. I'm not talking about that program.
I knew that was coming.
Okay, all right. That's a whole different program.
Sure.
That's a yoga program.
Okay. I'm aware.
All right. So anyway,
that's John's new program.
All right.
By the way.
Listen. So that's how dudes are. And then I look at when I've been out and about with married men or committed men, they are consistently the first to say, where are the girls? Where are the girls? Where are the girls? So from my experiences, it's like if that's how, and this is just from my experiences, that the dynamic is, why are you settling for cohabitation with another when you want all this other stuff? And I believe it's because comfort zones are created, and people are pussies, and they're afraid to get out of their comfort zone because it hurts. It might hurt a little bit to leave this person. Oh, the memories. Look at the picture where we're on top of the fucking volcano in Hawaii. Oh, it's so cute. It's like, man, when you are your
motherfucker.
Listen to me. When we were parasailing. Anyways, when you're out.
Oh, we were parasailing.
Yeah, we're parasailing in the Bahamas. Anyways, so when you're out,
unbelievable. Go ahead, wrap it up, John.
Right, so when you're out and you're acting like a different human being,
yeah, sure.
How are you not? And I'm not talking to you two specifically, but how is that not a form of absolutely bitch-ass weakness?
I'll somewhat answer your question. Kind of. I always said 100% because I was around a bunch of people that was similar to what you were just explaining.
Yes.
And the common denominator was they literally have either picked the wrong person or they had changed so much because they got married so young that they're different now. And
do you agree
so
that we're
unhappy.
speaking about the majority?
I believe it potentially is the majority.
Okay.
I would agree
is there
too.
different guy talk? A little bit. I think, yes. That's like locker room type shit, whatever.
Locker room program?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I guess you were at my house, John, seeing me in probably my most favorite element, which is lifting and drinking.
Yes.
And my wife said at the end of the party, we didn't even talk that much.
Right.
She goes, but you was in your element. I could see it. You're barking at the guys deadlifting. You're chugging Guinnesses. You know,
Yes.
you're working the room and just fucking having a blast.
Yes.
And I didn't change because my wife was there.
I did not witness a change. No.
Yeah. So that's but that is the common thing. Yes, because guys, I've seen it happen a million times.
Right.
And you shouldn't let that. I can understand some of that other kind of rah-rah talk, but at the end of the day, like, you should be able to be yourself if it's a person that you truly trust and you want to be with. So I think, but that's an accurate depiction, which is a big word for me.
Yeah. It's,
That I agree. I've seen that, and I used to tell these guys all the time. They're like, "Dude, why the fuck are you getting married? You're gonna, lose out on so many girls and so much stuff and all these things." And I was just like, and they're like mad because their wife's maybe not in shape anymore, or they're upset because they don't have the same views.
But you lose your freedom. You have a boss as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Fucking I don't.
But you don't have a boss. You have a business partner for life. It's different. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
Yeah, but my business partners,
your problem
we make
is,
money
no.
with.
Your problem is you don't want anybody else ever impacting what you do. That's an entrepreneurial thing, dude. I get it.
And I want to do
Because
what I
you
want to
think
do
all your-
when I want to do it.
No. But agreed. But it's like when you said the the statement.
We'll just call that. Did I earn that?
Yeah, when you said
The
the
statement.
statement of, I just believe my views are superior. I said, John, that's never going to work in a relationship. Hey,
Brother,
listen,
no.
Ashley of all people, you was like, yo,
No.
Hey.
So
I'm just telling you, Ash, my views
That's
are
the
all
program.
superior.
So I'm,
That's a superior
She'll
program.
punch your ass.
look, I'm telling you are getting used to getting punked in a relationship. And so I honestly believe being an entrepreneur and being in a relationship are some of the most conflicting
Yes.
Hell yes.
ways of doing things, because you got so much autonomy in the entrepreneurial world, and in a relationship is shared space, but your entrepreneurial mind is all about dissecting, analyzing, evaluating. In a relationship, it's real, like, this is a relationship and it's shared, and you're right sometimes, I'm wrong sometimes, you're right sometimes, I'm taking your lead, you're taking my lead. And then that's one dynamic. Then the other dynamic is like unconditionally loving somebody, like, all the time, and no matter
That's
what.
from my mom. She gets
No,
that.
but I mean, I would say this because they're like, even as you were talking, I got exactly what you were saying.
I understand it
And
completely.
then, but your mind shifts, and it's like a spiritual shift to me when you have a kid with a person. That, like, throws a dynamic, because then you're talking about something you've created, and then that becomes like, I don't know, like, just, I mean, you got 3 kids, right?
Mhm.
So I can imagine when you had your first kid, there was like something spiritual in a different way you love Rachel than you do.
Of course.
She's taken something and we've created something. And so that's like a whole different space that I
That's
don't
like
even,
sending the partnership into a whole entirely different level.
Yes,
If you look at it from a
yeah,
business
So if
standpoint.
you had to pick, do you pick your kids or your wife? Who comes first?
I think your blood always comes first.
Got it.
I think that's most
So
everybody
if
would
there's
say
2
that.
spots on a boat, it's you,
I think-
Alex,
no,
and
no,
Ray.
so check this out.
Ray's
Rachel-
swimming in the Atlantic.
Rachel would pick the kids to be on the boat
She's in the Atlantic.
every day of the week. She'd never pick herself.
She's in,
That's an easy one.
she's in the Pacific.
She whatever she would say, take the kids, 100%.
yeah, but I mean, but like
Most moms
but
would
I
do
get
that
like
though,
this,
John. That's not just Rach.
But a
That's
fam-
every mom.
but a
Your
family-
mom would do the same thing.
She's
I
in
would
the
say this, a
Mediterranean.
family or a marriage is like a stranglehold. I think it really comes down. I think Corey said it. I think coming down to getting with people who are free thinking, and that's what I can say. Like, me and Ashley are married. We've been together 14 years. Had times where we butted heads just like everybody else, but 90% of the time, she's free and understanding who I am. Like, there's no like silly expectations outside of just provide for the family, make sure you're well behaved, keep your dick in your pants, and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Can
But
be challenging.
yeah,
Sure.
but anything other than that, and you know that to keep the dick in the pants is just more of a manly, control your fucking hormones, stay committed thing.
Don't
You know,
spread the seed.
don't spread the seed. Yeah,
Right.
that's a manly thing. But
Yeah.
I don't want to give the wrong idea to the person that it like as if being in a relationship is a bad thing, because I think different parts of you come out when you're unconditionally loving a woman, and you're creating a friendship with somebody. You know, so it's something that you couldn't get from a man, that you get from a woman. And I also understand the benefits because, so you talk about isolation. I was in prison for 20 hours a day, and I can see now, you know, John, you said you're so independent and so dependent on yourself. I can see how you fall in love with that because in prison you come like that. The life you live is like the life that you live in prison, where it's just total autonomy, total myself. I know it's what make me happy. I'm just cool being around myself. And so then when you make somebody else inside the program who ain't, you know, it's not really meshing, and you know where you want to go.
The ultimate
you
support,
could rotate a lot of people in and out of my program. Though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like
but
after.
what if there was one from when John Fosco was 20, or whenever you had all those problems, that was there that entire time, always supporting you, whether you had money, no money, on drugs, off drugs, and was on the program. That's Rach. Like since the first wall was painted in the first gym, like ride or die, full support, bought in.
Got it.
So, but
you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if you've ever been able to have. Maybe you've never had that kind of support, Johnny.
So, but it's thing like this though. But that to me.
Didn't marry her.
So you understand what it feels like.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
But I mean, but now we're getting into the value of friend space, and I don't care if Rachel was a man or a woman, because when you start,
she's a woman.
When you start describing that, I could have took Rachel's name off and put Ashley right there.
That's what I was getting.
You know what I'm saying? But
what if it was a man? What if it was a man? What if it was a man that that you just described? You know, you saying the woman
friend.
could give you something different.
But that's a brotherhood. It's the same thing though. Like so, when you go through shit with people, that's how the brotherhood becomes. That's how it becomes good. That's how you can get that same thing from a. You can literally get that same thing from a man, but it's just a human being that you can depend on to give you good advice, to pick you up when you're low, to help you out, to be by your side, to commit to you. I think the having a sex and reproducing part is just an extra benefit. But
if you remove the vagina,
she's a great friend. My lady, if you remove the vagina, we wouldn't have problems with me.
And just close orifices.
If you
close the orifices.
Yeah, close all that. Look, close all that.
Close it all.
Take
that
whole,
program.
Here we go.
Take all the hormones.
Take the whole sexual thing out of it.
Yeah.
A good fucking friend. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so when you can have a good friend, I don't give a fuck who it is in life. Like if you can just have a good friend, a good friendship with people, like that's the shit you appreciate because like you got so many fly by night people, so many people come in and out, so many. My relationship with Corey is just based upon a podcast. My relationship with John is based upon a podcast. And, like, there's nothing, like, significant about that. You know what I'm saying? And so,
but if Corey had long hair, had different hormones, and had a vagina, would that be the case?
I guess you lost me on that one.
Meaning, he lost me, too.
Meaning maybe you would date him. Or
What?
or her.
No, so like
maybe you date her.
Oh, so let me.
How did I become transgender all of a sudden?
Yeah,
the fuck out of here, John.
No.
Hey, we're going to question and answer. I don't know where John's going with this, and I'm taking it. I'm running the show right now.
Corey, are you LGBTQ whatever that
hey,
is?
Y2K. It's time for questions. This motherfucker.